What's up, family? Welcome to Ask to My Aunts,
where we challenge you to stop playing and start pushing.
This right here is my dazzling wife, Fiona.
And this right here, this is my magnificent husband, Ayize.
I love you.
I love you too. Well, y'all, I'm a little delirious because I'm a lot tired. But we're going to get right into this question. Young lady reached out to me on Facebook. And I first want to say this. I want to say that I appreciate your patience and I appreciate your persistence. She started reaching out a while back like, hello, can you answer this for me? I directed her to the website. Said, please submit the question through the website, not through Facebook. She said, okay, I'm going to do that. She sent a couple of messages through the website, came back around on Facebook. I mean, you have hung in there, sister. So we're going to answer this one good for you. And we hope that it is of help to you. Persistence, it pays off. So we appreciate it. Now, here's the question. This is a young lady. It's not a long, drawn-out question. She just wants to know what our thoughts are on a 20-something-year-old. She herself is 24. Being in relationship with a 40-something-year-old. And he himself, this gentleman, is 47. So what is that? That is a 23-year-old difference. And so, we're going to rap about it a little bit, give you some pros and cons. But I first want to open up the conversation by saying this. Anytime I hear about a young lady or even a young man being in relationship with someone who is 20 plus older years than them, 20 plus years older than them, it's like bells ring, it's a little alarm, little alert. That's just generally speaking. So I want you to know that when you send me the question off the top, I'm like, what's up with that? Mm-hmm. And the reason... The reason being is that, we go through different developmental stages in our lives. Mm-hmm. We go through different phases, different spaces, based on where we are in our maturity, based on where we are emotionally, in our concrete tasks that we have to accomplish, in terms of our manifesting certain things in our lifespan, in terms of our insight, our oversight, what we have to take care of. There's just different things. So how you may be walking down the street, Ayize, and you see a brother walking down the street, and he's got 2 kids, and you with your kids. There's an identification, and there's an identification that you have as a young father with that other father that you didn't have when you were a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old walking down the street bouncing your basketball, and you saw that same man with the 2 children. There's not an identification because you all are in common spaces, and so there's value to being in relationship with someone. That's just an example. I mean, that's seeing someone on the street, but there's value to being in relationship with someone who is in a similar space in terms of where they are in their lifespan, in terms of what they're doing. It doesn't mean that, for example, that they may be working on goals that are very different from you, that there's anything wrong with that, oftentimes folks are, going back to school or reviving things and someone else may have done those things already. I'm not talking about that kind of thing, but I'm saying just in terms of where you are and the desires you have in life. 20-something, it ain't really about nothing. I'm not trying to tell you not, because, we got married at 24.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you're just breaking out, trying to figure out what the world means. You get in your 30s, you doing a little something more. And so the 40s and the 50s and so on, all of those decades have meaning to them in a very unique way. Mm-hmm. And I'm not certain as to what a 47-year-old man has in common with a 24-year-old young lady.
Yeah, that's the thing that alarms me.
Now, I would say that there must be something in common, though, because they're together. And so what that says to me is that you are either exceptionally mature, which that brother's probably told you are, right? You got to size your head a little bit. Mm-hmm. Or he really is immature in some ways. And so it is to his benefit to have someone who is 23 years younger, not because you're any less of a person, but because that serves him, because he's not where he needs to be, perhaps, mentally, emotionally, whatever, right? I don't know your situation. I don't even know nothing about the dude. I don't really know much about you. But I'm just saying, there's always something that goes off in my head and says, what do you want with a, what you want with somebody that's 20-something years younger? I don't get it.
Yeah, one of the things that, my wife, she spoke about the different psychosocial development stages. And, I think that when we consider that, if you look at your peers, and you find yourself in a relationship with somebody who's in another developmental stage, you then have to ask yourself the question, what is right or what is wrong with the people who are in the same developmental stage as I am? He being 47, when he looks at his peers, what is it about the fact that he is unable or unwilling to be in a relationship with somebody who is his age? And, is he unable to maintain a relationship with somebody who is his age? The people who are in his age range, who are in that developmental stage, he may not possibly stack up to him. So, again, I think that it would be easier, especially, socio-emotionally and also financially, too, more importantly, for you to look a certain way to somebody who's 24 versus to somebody who's 47 who's been through some things in their life. So there's some pros and cons, with being in a relationship with somebody who is older, and we just want to share a few of those with you.
Now, before we get to the pros and cons, we're just going to give you a couple. I do want to say this, because I know there's folks out there like, I've been married for 39 years, and we have a big space, in between us in terms of our age. There's always exceptions to every rule. But generally speaking, the span of a decade is pretty much just about as much as you want to go. 30 and 40. 40 and 50, right? And particularly as you get older, it becomes more acceptable in terms of where the maturity level is. But when you get beyond a decade, you start to have to ask yourself some questions, and you have to look for those pros and cons. And so we're going to give you some pros and cons.
Now, my wife did say as you get older, too, because, if you're looking at 40 and 60 or 45 and 65,
there's still some things there.
But there's distance, but again, you all are, relatively...
That's 45 and 68, because they're 23 years apart. That's still, come on now, don't that just seem,
but, the older you get, again, the more normalized it may be, because you all are in similar spaces, in your development. So, 50, 70, 60, 80. You 70,
no,
90,
dude, no.
80,
At 50,
80, 100.
I'm not doing the same thing the 70-year-olds doing.
80, 100.
Okay, I'm not.
70-year-olds to get down.
Yeah, there are. But guess what? When they was 50, they was getting down even more. The ones who's 70 and getting down, they was a whole nother level when they was 50, right? So I don't know about that. But pro. A pro in terms of, advantages to dating an older man, they have a lot more sexual experience. A lot more life experience. And so when you come to the table with more experience, that's a benefit oftentimes to those of us who are younger. You said I said those of us because I'm younger. I'm younger. I ain't younger than you, but I'm just in that younger category. Oh, wait a minute. I am younger than you. Let me keep it real. Wait a minute. For real. I am actually for real younger than you. But they have a lot more experience. And so... I do have a birthday coming up. But... Stop interrupting. So whether it's about certain life issues, things that, you can be getting insight and perspective on from that person, or whether it's in the bedroom and that person being able to take you to a whole nother level and do some things you ain't never even been exposed to, oftentimes the person who is older brings that to the table. And that can be very, very good. That's a pro.
Yeah, another thing, too, is, just financial stability, some sense of financial security. So, whereas you're just getting your feet wet when it comes to the work world, he may have already established a career. And in doing so, he got his house. He got his cars, so, whatever it may be. And so he's financially secure. At least he's in the process of establishing that. And he's further along than you are. So, being in a relationship with somebody who is further along in that regard, it's a benefit to you because he can assist you and support you in accomplishing some of your goals. So, again, that is another pro to being in a relationship with somebody who's, older than you.
So there's some cons as well. And one of the cons, and this is the thing that also comes to my mind when I hear about the scenario, is that oftentimes folks who are older, and particularly men who are older and get with younger women, it's because, by nature they're controlling. And so, they want that dynamic and they can't find it sometimes in women who are their age and who are their peers in many ways. I make just as much money. I've been out here doing it just as long as you. So when you have someone who's younger, that relationship is easier to set up in such a way where they are able to be in control of more things, kind of tell you who your friend should and shouldn't be, and I've been there, done that kind of thing. And so that ain't a good thing. And being controlling is one of those things you want to make sure that you look out for and you pay attention to.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you want to, one concern that I would have is just the sexual compatibility. While my wife said that they may have more sexual and life experience, you're 24, he's 47, and I can only imagine. Actually, I know because I was 24 before, but just my flexibility, my durability, my dexterity.
Your actual physical flexibility.
Yeah, my dexterity was greater at that time period than it is now, and I'm not 47. So in terms of
you're
being
not that
a woman,
flexible now.
I'm not that flexible. No. I need to work on it, but I ain't that flexible. So, just some of the things that you might want to try, some of the things that you might want to do. There may be some limitations on his part because he's not as agile as you are. He can't get with the pretzel. He can't, do all of that.
Pretzel.
He ain't doing the pretzel, but you know what I'm saying. He might not be down with the contorting the different positions and all of that type of stuff. So, but 47 is not old.
I know, but it sound like 95.
But trust and believe, 47 is different
than 24.
It really is. Because the things that you can do, you're like, wow. He's
and
like,
that
what?
might be why he wants you, because he wants you to do them things. And last but not least, the older you get, you always hear this, don't we, folks? Oh, the more set in our ways we get, right? The more resistant to change we become. That's why we always say, stop playing and start pushing, because if you don't push now, you run the risk that you will become entrenched in the habits that have held you down. You'll look up and you say, dang, I'm still in the same place. I'm 52, 67, 89. And so the persons who are older, a lot of times they ain't trying to change. You may have new ideas or different ways of thinking about things. They've been doing it this way. Their mama did it that way. Their mama's mama did it that way. And that's how we going to do it. And that's all there is to it. You got to be careful about that. So we hope that this has been of help to you. We hope we shed a little light on the subject. I want to say, my sister, I appreciate your persistence. I'm wondering if you were reaching out over and over again because there was something in you that said, what is there with this? Because you said, what should I be looking out for? And so I would suggest that there's already something in you that was telling you that there's something that you need to be doing differently, that you need to be thinking about differently, that you need to be paying attention to. Go with your gut. Pay attention to what your small, still voice says to you. If it ain't right, it ain't right. Stop playing. Start pushing.